Try to read the question very, very carefully, and see how you can solve this question. Okay. So question is given like this. Two balls of charges Q1 and Q2 initially have same velocity. So their masses are also different. Clear? So initially have same velocity means what? Both of them they are traveling in same direction. That is the meaning of this one. So let us consider this is charge Q1 and its mass is m1. Initially it is moving with a velocity of v. Clear? And second charge, let it be Q2, its mass is m2. It is also moving with a velocity of v only, same velocity. Clear? Then what he is saying, an uniform electric field is applied for some time. Clear, ma? So an electric field is applied in this direction. This is E. This is the direction of electric field which is applied at a particular angle of theta. Clear, ma? Then what is happening, if I am applying electric field in this direction, then these charges will experience a force, no? These charges will experience some force. So because of that, what is happening to the first ball? Direction of first ball changes by 60 degrees and its magnitude becomes half. Okay. So what is the meaning of this one? It means that this ball which was traveling in this direction, previously it was traveling in this direction, now it is starting to travel in this direction. With what velocity? With a velocity of v by 2. With a velocity of v by 2. Because he gave magnitude has become half, no? And what angle it is making? It is making an angle of 60 degrees. That's all, no? Okay. Now direction of a second ball changes by 90 degrees. But what is its magnitude? That we don't know. How its velocity has changed, that we don't know. Clear, nama? So second ball also, previously it was traveling in this direction, no? Now it is traveling in this direction with a velocity of v2. Clear, ma? And what angle it is making? It is making an angle of 90 degrees with the original direction. Okay. So this is what is happening when I am implying some electric field. Then what he is asking, determine the ratio of charge to mass ratio of second ball if alpha is the charge to mass ratio of first ball. So that is what we are supposed to find out. Q2 by m2. This is called charge to mass ratio, no? Charge to mass ratio of second ball. This we are supposed to find out. Q2 by m2 is how much? What is given? First ball is given. Q1 by m1 ratio is alpha. This value is given. We are supposed to find out this value. Clear, ma? Okay. Can you say what is happening here and how can I solve this problem? First of all, can you say why the directions of balls are changing? Why the directions of balls are changing? Okay, ma? Because electric field is applied, no? If electric field is applied, these are charged particles. Charged particles will experience some force. Because of that force, definitely direction will change. Are you able to understand? Magnitude of velocity also changes, direction also changes. Clear? Now, by using which concept can I solve this problem? That is the question. Clear, ma? Force is applied for some time. Force is applied for some time. So, force and time are present. Next, velocities are changing. If velocities are changing, it means their momentum is also changing, no? What is momentum? Mass into velocity is called as momentum of the body. Clear? So what is the relation between force, time and momentum? What is the relation between them? This is called as, we can solve by the theorem which is called as impulse momentum theorem. Impulse momentum theorem. Clear, number? In work power energy, we should have studied this one, no? What is impulse momentum theorem? What is impulse, ma? I is equals to F into T, no? This is called as impulse. Clear? Then what is momentum? Momentum is called as mass into velocity of the body. This is called momentum. Okay? What is the relation between them? Impulse is nothing but change in momentum. You should have studied this one now previously. Impulse acting on a body is equals to change in momentum. That's all, Nama? Clear? What is impulse? Impulse is F into delta t, force into time of application of force. So F into t is equals to mv minus mu. What is mv? Final momentum minus initial momentum. This is the impulse and momentum equation. So impulse acting on a body is always responsible for change in momentum. It means if you apply force for a small time, velocity of the body changes, no? This is called as impulse and momentum equation. Okay, ma? Okay. Now, what is the formula for force acting on a charged particle? Force acting on a charged particle is Q into E, no? Force is Q into E. So Q into E into delta T is equals to M into V minus U. Can I write like this? Now I will write equation for first charge or first body. Clear, ma? On first body, what is the charge of first body? Q1. Q1 is the charge, no? So Q1. Q1 into electric field is acting in this direction. This electric field, I can split this one into two components, no? Clear, ma? Electric field along x-axis, electric field along y-axis. Clear? So Q1 into Ex I cap plus Ey j cap, and what is the time? Time is delta t. That's all, no? So Q1, charge is Q1. Electric field is acting in this direction, no? I am splitting that one into two components. Electric field along x-axis, electric field along y-axis into delta t. Clear? So what is the mass of first particle? Mass of the first particle is m1. And what is the final velocity of first particle? This is the final velocity, no? So this final velocity also I can split this one into two components. I can split like this, no? Clear, no? So this is v by 2 cos 60. This is v by 2 sin 60. Can I write like this? Definitely. So final velocity can be written as v by 2 cos 60 I cap plus v by 2 sin 60 j cap. Clear, no? So minus, now m into u is also there, no? So m1 into initial velocity is how much? Initial velocity is vi cap, because previously it was traveling along x-axis, no? So I will write m1 into vi cap. So this is the equation for first charge. Okay? Come on, first of all make a note up to here. Then we will write equation for second charge also. Then we will try to solve both of them. Have you understood up to here, ma? Very simple. Come on. Come on, completed up to here. Akko. Pakadlena ನೀವು show. Similarly, how can I write? Completed ma up to here, all of you? Okay. So now I will write a relation for Pakadlena ನೀವು. We will write equation for second body. Clear, ma? For second body, how can I write the relation? Second charge. Second body, second charge, both are same. Sure, pakadle tuj. Okay, ma? For second charge, how can I relation? Again, same relation, no, ma? So here charge is Q2. Q2 into, now electric field is in the same direction, no? So Ex I cap plus Ey j cap into delta t is equals to mv minus mu. So what is the mass of second charge? Mass of the second charge is m2. Clear, nama? Therefore, solve this one. So Q1 Ex delta t is equals to m1 into v by 2. Cos 60 is 1 by 2, no? So minus m1 into v. So Q1 Ex into delta t is equals to m1, if I take common, then it is v by 4 minus v. V by 4 minus v is how much? Q1 Ex delta t is equals to m1 into minus 3v divided by 4. This is our, let it be equation number 3. First equation, second equation, and equation number 3. Clear, nama? Similarly, you compare comparing y components in equation number 1. Comparing y components Okay, ma? In equation number 1. What are the y components? Q1 Ey delta t. That's all, ma? Q1 Ey delta t. So what is the answer I will get? It is equals to, so m1 v by 2 sine 60. That's all, no? Only one component. So q1 Ey delta t is equals to m1 into v by 2 sine 60 is root 3 divided by 2. Clear, no, ma? So therefore q1 Ey into delta t is equals to m1 into root 3 v divided by 4. Let it be our equation number 4. Clear? Similarly, you write equations for second body. So sorry, for second equation also you comparing x components in equation 2. Okay. Now here what are the x components, can you say? X components are q2 ex into delta t is equals to, only one x component is present, no? Minus m2 into v. This is the only x component which is present. Are you able to understand, ma? So let it be our equation number 5. Clear? Then comparing y components in again equation number 2. So what are the y components which are present? q2 into ey into delta t is equals to m2 into v2. These are the 4 equations which we have. Are you able to understand, ma? Now what I want to calculate? I want to calculate a charge to mass ratio, no? Charge to mass ratio of a second body. It means q2 by m2 I want to calculate. Okay, ma? So in equation number 3, here I have q1 by m1, no? So just if you divide both of them, can't I get the answer? Are you able to understand, ma? So which equations I will take? I will take equation number 3 and equation number 5. Are you able to understand, ma? So I can take only these two, because ex and ex should get cancelled, no? So therefore what I will do, dividing equation number 5 divided by equation number 3. Now see what is the equation I will get. Here directly I can write, so q2 divided by m2 ex into delta t is equals to minus v divided by, here what I can write, in equation number 3 I can write, so q1 divided by m1 ex into delta t is equals to minus v. Here what is the equation I have, ma? Divided by minus 3v divided by 4. That's all, no? So E1 delta t gets cancelled. Clear? So minus minus v and v also get cancelled. So I will get 4 by 3. That is the relation which I got. And q1 by m1 he gave it is equal to alpha, no? q1 by m1 he assumed us to calculate alpha. So therefore what is q2 by m2? q2 by m2 is equals to 4 by 3 into alpha. That's all. This is our answer. Calculated, no? So charge to mass ratio of second particle is how much? 4 by 3 times of charge to mass ratio of first particle. First particle charge to mass ratio q1 by m1. It is called as alpha. So this is how we have calculated. Have you understood? That's all very simple. Okay, ma? Come on, make a note up to here. And similarly, you can compare other quantities also, and you can find this V2 value also. This is an unknown quantity, no? So this V2 value also you can calculate. Okay, come on.
So, a particle A having a charge Q and mass m, it is placed at bottom of an inclined plane of angle theta. So, where should block B having same charge and same mass be placed on inclined plane such that this charge is in equilibrium? That is the question. Are you able to understand? So therefore, first of all, let us try to draw a diagram of this one. Clear, ma? So here there is a charge which is having a charge of Q and its mass is m. That's all, no, ma? So here we have one more charge. And what is this distance that we are supposed to find out? Let this distance be d. Clear? And its charge is also q and its mass is also m. And he did not give any information on friction present on this plane, so we will consider friction to be 0. Friction acting on this inclined plane we consider to be 0. Clear? So I want this charge to be in equilibrium. So in which conditions this charge will be equilibrium? If all the forces which are acting parallel to this inclined plane and perpendicular to this inclined plane, if they are balanced with each other, then in that condition this will be in equilibrium. That's all. No? Now can you say how many forces are acting on this one? Its own weight will be acting in downwards direction. No, mg will be acting in downwards direction. What is the angle of inclination? Angle of inclination is theta. Still how many forces are acting? Normal reaction is acting in this direction. This is the direction of normal reaction. Still force of repulsion. So between this charge and between this charge, there will be some electrostatic force of repulsion also, no? Fe. Still any other forces are acting? Okay. That's all, no? No other forces are acting. So this mg, I can split this one into two components, no? Clear, no? If this is angle theta, this is also angle theta. Clear, no? Then this component will become adjacent component, no? Then this will become mg cos theta and opposite component will become mg sin theta. That's all, no? Now what are the forces which are acting along y-axis? So we would consider this one to be my y-axis and this one to be my x-axis. Are you able to understand, ma? So the axis which is perpendicular to the contact surface is y-axis and the axis which is parallel to this contact surface is x-axis. So therefore, along x-axis, can you say what are the forces which are acting? Along x-axis. Along x-axis, mg sin theta is acting in downwards direction. Any other force which is acting in upward direction? Electrostatic force of repulsion. That's all, no? So therefore, mg sin theta is equal to Fe. This is the only force which is acting in upward direction. So mg sin theta is balanced by electrostatic force of repulsion. And electrostatic force of repulsion equation? K q1 q2 divided by r square. Here what is meant by r? R is the distance between these two charges, no? Nothing but a distance d. Clear, no? So d square. And charges are having same magnitude, no? So I can write k q square divided by d square. So from this what I am supposed to find out? Only d value, no? So calculate d value, that is our answer. Okay, come on. Come on, make a note of this one. Okay, so therefore, so d square is equals to kq square divided by mg sin theta. Okay, so d is equals to square root of kq square divided by mg sin theta. Okay, so d can be written as q into square root of 1 by 4 pi e naught mg into sin theta, because k value is nothing but 1 by 4 pi e naught only, no? So this is our answer. Okay, it means the second charge I have to place at a distance of d, where d value is this much. Then in this condition, both the charges will be in equilibrium. That's all, no? Any idea? How can we do this problem? So a small ball of mass m and charge is suspended by a string of length L. Clear, ma? So this is the point of suspension. From here, a small ball of mass m and charge q, it is suspended from this point. Clear, ma? So another identical ball having same charge is fixed at the point of suspension. It means here I have one more charge. Clear, ma? Which is also having a mass of m and its charge is also q. This is the condition. So, and what is this point? This point is point of suspension. Point of suspension. What is meant by point of suspension? It means this body is hanging from this point. Clear, ma? Then find the minimum velocity that should be given to the ball so that it can complete a circular path. So to this ball of mass m and charge q, if I give a certain velocity of u, then this body should be able to complete a circular path. That is the question which he is asking. No? So what is this minimum amount of velocity I have to give so that this body can complete a circular path? That is the question. Okay. Can you see how can we solve this problem? Clear, ma? So first of all, you should have a small idea on vertical circular motion. If you don't have idea on vertical circular motion, you can refer to my channel. So there you will find a complete discussion on vertical circular motion. Are you able to understand, ma? So for final velocity of a body, see, ma, so what are the conditions that a body can complete a circular path? Conditions are there. When body reaches to the topmost position, then here tension should become 0. When body reaches to the angle of 180 degrees, its tension should become 0. Clear, ma? Tension can be present. If tension has become 0, then that is the minimum velocity with which body can travel. Okay? So if I give a velocity greater than this velocity, then no problem. Body definitely moves in a circular path. But what kind of velocity he is asking us to find out? Minimum velocity. Minimum velocity means if I give this much velocity, body after reaching to the highest position, here its tension should become 0. Tension developed in the string should become 0. All these conditions we have studied in vertical circular motion. So once you refer that topic, then you will get a clarity what is happening here. Are you able to understand, ma? Similarly, for final velocity of a particle also, there we have found out one equation. What is that one? V is equals to square root of u square minus 2gl into 1 minus cos theta. This was the relation which we have studied previously. Clear, ma? What is this equation? This is the equation. This is the initial velocity. L is the length of this string and theta is the angle theta where I want to find out final velocity of this body. Are you able to understand, ma? So if body reaches to the topmost position here, then what is the total angle covered? Total angle will become 180 degrees. No? Clear, no? So cos 180 is how much? Cos 180 is minus 1. So 1 minus of minus 1 will become 2. 2 into 2 will become 4. So therefore, what is the final velocity we will get? V is equals to square root of u square minus 4gl. This is the relation which I will get. Are you able to understand, ma? So after reaching an angle of 180 degrees, what is the final velocity of the body? V is equals to square root of u square minus 4gl. Clear, ma? So this was the equation we have derived previously. So how we have derived this equation, do you remember? Clear, ma? How we have derived this relation, do you remember previously? This equation was derived by using law of conservation of energy. By which relation we have calculated? Law of conservation of energy. By this relation we have calculated this one. Clear, ma? So let us see once again how we have derived this equation for final velocity of the body after reaching an angle of theta. Are you able to understand? Okay. So therefore, for example, here what is the initial velocity of the body? Here initial velocity of the body is u, no? Clear, ma? So let us take this point to be, zero potential energy reference. Clear, ma? Potential energy is always a comparable quantity, ma. Potential energy is always a comparable quantity. It always depends upon the point where you have taken to calculate the potential energy. Clear, ma? So this point I have taken to be my zero potential energy. So every potential energy I will compare from this position only. Okay. So therefore, if here zero potential energy is 0, then here what is the energy possessed by the particle? Only kinetic energy is there, no? At the lowest position, this bob is having how much velocity? This bob is having a velocity of u. Are you able to understand, ma? So because of u, what kind of energy bob will have? Only kinetic energy. So at the bottommost position, the only energy which is existing is kinetic energy, which is half mu square. Are you able to understand, ma? Okay. Now from here, Bob will reach up to this position. Okay. So here it will have a velocity of v. Clear? So because of v, what kind of energy it will have? It will have a kinetic energy of half mv square. Clear, ma? Now when compared to this position, Bob is now present at this height. No? So what is the total height of the Bob? Total length is L, another L. L plus L is 2L. Clear, ma? So therefore, what is the potential energy acquired by this Bob? Potential energy is mg into 2L. Can I write like this? Potential energy formula is mgh only, no? So mg into h is how much? 2L. Clear, ma? So therefore, this relation m I can cancel. So u square is equals to v square plus 4gl. So therefore, v square is equals to u square minus 4gl. So v is equals to square root of u square minus 4gl. This was the same relation I got, no? Are you able to understand, ma? So directly by using this equation also, you can calculate final velocity, or just by using law of conservation of energy also, we can calculate the final velocity. Clear, ma? So final velocity I got after reaching an angle of 180 degrees. Up to here I got the relation. But still I did not get the answer, no? What I want to find out, minimum velocity such that body can complete a circular path. Clear, ma? Minimum velocity means which value should become 0? Tension at the highest point should become 0. Clear, ma? So first of all, make a note up to here. Then we will discuss how to calculate tension. Come on. Make a note up to. Now, can you say, how can we calculate tension? Tension, how can we calculate? Completed, no? Up to here? Okay. So, we got equation for final velocity, which is equal to, v is equals to square root of u square minus 4gl. Okay. Now, at the highest point, clear, ma? How can I calculate tension? Tension, how can I calculate? Can you see? Anybody, how can I calculate tension? Clear, ma? Anybody, ma, who can answer? How can I calculate tension at the... Tension is definitely 0. Equation of tension. How can I write equation for tension? At the highest position, tension is definitely 0. Then only here velocity will be minimum. That's all, no? So, how can I write equation for tension? That is my question. No. See, ma, here... So, on this bob, what will be the direction of tension first of all? Tension will be towards the center of the circle, no? Because what is the property of tension? Tension is always a pulling force. Tension is always a pulling force. It is always away from the tied end of the body. So, bob is tied here, no? So, it is away from the tied end. Are you able to understand, ma? So, tension is acting in downwards direction. And still, what are the forces which are acting? Its own weight mg, this is also acting in downwards direction. Weight of the bob mg is also acting in downwards direction. Any other force? Electrostatic force of repulsion is also existing, no? So between this charge and this charge, there will be an electrostatic force of repulsion, which is called as Fe. Are you able to understand, ma? So therefore, these are the three forces which are acting on this body. Are you able to understand? And bob has how much velocity? Bob has a velocity of v. Okay. Now can you say, how can I write all these forces and this velocity into one equation? Can you say? How can I write all of them into one equation? How can I write? Very simple. For a body to move in a circular path, centripetal force is required, no? For a bob to move in a circular path, what force is required? Centripetal force is required. And here who is providing the centripetal force? Centripetal force should be in which direction? Towards the center of the circle. So T and mg, they are acting towards the center of the circle, no? But there is one more force which is acting
away from the circle also. So therefore what I can write? I can write T plus mg minus Fe is providing Fc. What is Fc? Centripetal force. And what is the equation for centripetal force? mv square divided by r. Here r means L, no ma? Total length of the string is L, no? So I will write mv square divided by L. This is my equation. Okay, ma? So therefore, what is my equation for tension? Tension is equals to mv square by L. This minus Fe goes plus Fe to the other side and it becomes minus mg. So this is my equation for tension. Clear, no ma? So this is my first equation for velocity and this is my second equation for tension. Clear? And electrostatic force of repulsion is how much? Kq square divided by L square. That's all, no? So therefore T is equals to mv square by L plus electrostatic force of repulsion can be written as Kr instead of K. I will write 1 by 4 pi E naught. So 1 by 4 pi E naught Q square divided by L square minus mg. Clear, ma? And for velocity to become minimum, tension at the highest point should become 0. Clear, no? So therefore this total term I will equate this one to 0. So therefore 0 is equals to mv square by L plus 1 by 4 pi E naught Q square divided by L square minus mg. That's all, no? So what is V here? Final velocity. Final velocity relation already we have calculated, no? So just to take this one, substitute here, and what I am supposed to find out? I am supposed to find out initial velocity. Here I have initial velocity, no? Calculate that one, that is our answer. Okay? Come on, make a note up to here. Okay, ma? Have you made a diagram of this one? T and mg are acting towards the center of the circle. Electrostatic force of repulsion is acting away from the center of the circle. So T and mg minus Fe, they are providing the centripetal force. Because centripetal force should be always directed towards the center of the circle. Are you able to understand? That's all. Okay, I am rubbing this one. So therefore, what I am doing now? So let it be our equation number 3. Okay, so substituting 1 in 3. Okay, ma? So 0 is equals to m by L into, instead of V square, what I can write? U square minus 4GL plus 1 by 4 pi E naught Q square divided by L square minus mg. Clear? So from this, what I am supposed to find out? Equation for initial velocity, and directly I am writing the equation. You can solve it afterwards. So u is equals to square root of 5GL plus 5GL minus Q square divided by 4 pi E naught into ml. 4 pi E naught into ml. So this is our equation for minimum initial velocity required so that this charge can complete a circular path. Okay, ma? That's all. That is our answer. Understood now how we have done this one? That's all. Very simple. Are you able to understand, ma, what is happening here? So this is a glass tube in which two masses are present and they are charged bodies. And they are likely charged. Likely charged means what? They will have an electrostatic force of repulsion, and weight of this body is also acting in downwards direction. So weight acting on this one and electrostatic force of repulsion, they are balanced with each other. Okay. So if I slightly disturb this one, then this charge, will it experience simple harmonic motion or not? Definitely it will experience simple harmonic motion. No? Why? For example, if I push this one downwards, then electrostatic force of repulsion increases, weight remains constant. So therefore again it will try to move upwards. When it tries to move upwards, what will happen? First of all, it will go to the mean position, where again forces will get balanced. Then after crossing the mean position, what will happen? Electrostatic force of repulsion becomes weaker and weight of the body is greater when compared to electrostatic force of repulsion in the final position. Clear? So definitely there is some restoring force which is pulling this body back to the mean position. If there is some restoring force which is pulling the body back to the mean position, then that kind of motion is called as simple harmonic motion. That is what we have studied, no? Clear, ma? So, what is its angular frequency that we are supposed to find out? Okay, come on, see how you can calculate. Okay, so 1 or 2 minutes of time you can take and start thinking about this question. Okay, see, ma, let us do one thing. Let us slightly displace this one above this position. Okay, so let mass m be displaced in plus y direction. In which direction we are displacing, ma? Plus y direction. Very small displacement. Clear? When compared to this y naught, I can say y is much less than y naught. What is meant by y is much less than y naught? When compared to this separation between the bodies, the displacement is very small. Clear, ma? So slightly I am displacing this one up to here. Okay, so this displacement is how much? This displacement is y. Okay, so if I displace this one above this what you called initial position, then what happens to electrostatic force of repulsion? Electrostatic force of repulsion, will it increase or decrease? Decrease. No? Electrostatic force of repulsion will definitely decrease. Then weight will become greater than electrostatic force of repulsion. No? So therefore here what I can write mg. So initially, before displacing, what I can write? Before displacing, clear, ma? Before displacing means what? When bodies were in equilibrium. When bodies were in equilibrium, then what were the forces which are acting? For example, if I take this is the free body diagram of this mass m. So mg was acting in downwards direction, no? Weight of the body was acting in downwards direction. What was the upward force which was acting? Electrostatic force of repulsion. And what is its value? Its value is 1 by 4 pi E naught q square divided by y naught square. Can I write like this? This was the electrostatic force of repulsion which was acting when the system was in equilibrium position. Are you able to understand, ma? Now when I displace this one, now how can I write the electrostatic force of repulsion? So after displacing, clear, ma? So new electrostatic force of repulsion can be written as 1 by 4 pi E naught q square divided by y naught plus y whole square. Can I write like this? After displacing, total distance has become y naught plus y, no? So electrostatic force of repulsion has become 1 by 4 pi E naught q square divided by y naught plus y whole square. This is the relation. So now can I say the upward forces and downward forces, are they balanced? Now after displacing, are they balanced? No. Which force is greater than which force? mg is greater than this force. It means net force is acting in which direction? Downwards direction. If net force is acting in downwards direction, then acceleration will be in which direction? Acceleration. Acceleration will be in the direction of net force only, no? So acceleration also acting in downwards direction. Are you able to understand, ma? So therefore, how can you write a relation? First of all, did you make a note up to here, ma? Make a note up to here. Clear? So therefore, after displacing, what is the relation I can write? So mg is acting in downwards direction and electrostatic force of repulsion Fe dash, which is acting in upward direction.
So here I can write definitely mg will be greater than fe dash. I can write like this now. Definitely downward force will be greater than electrostatic force of repulsion. Clear ma? So therefore, can I write mg minus fe dash becomes the net force? I can write like this, no? Clear na? So mg minus okay. So mg minus fe dash becomes the net force. Net force always produces acceleration. No? Net force produces acceleration. Okay, come on. Make a note up to here because we have to rub this board. Clear ma? So therefore what I can write? So mg minus fe dash. Fe dash is how much ma? So q square divided by 4 pi e naught into y naught plus y whole square. This is equals to mass into acceleration. That's all. No? So now for simplification what I will do one thing. So mg minus q square divided by 4 pi e naught into y naught plus y whole square. This I will multiply by y naught by y naught. Let us see ma. So mg minus q square divided by 4 pi e naught into y naught square. This y naught square gets here. This one I can multiply by y naught plus y divided by y naught whole square is equal to ma. I can write like this, no? So this is a numerator number. So this goes to denominator of denominator. Denominator of denominator, definitely it becomes numerator only. Clear number? So therefore mg minus q square by 4 pi e naught into y naught square, it is nothing but mg only, no, previously. So instead of this q square divided by 4 pi e naught into y naught square, I will write mg. So mg divided by 1 plus y square divided by y divided by y naught whole square is equal to ma. I can write up to here. Okay, completed ma up to here. Shall I rub this one? Okay. All of you completed ma up to here. Is it completed now? Come on, make a note up to here. Therefore, what I can do? So, mg minus mg divided by this, if I take to the numerator, then it will become 1 plus y by y naught whole square power minus 1 is equal to ma. So mg minus mg into this, I can write 1 minus y divided by y naught whole square is equal to ma. Clear now? So this is according to binomial expansion. Clear now? So therefore again I can expand this one according to binomial expansion. Then 2 comes to the here. Only first term is valuable here. Remaining all terms are very, very small in binomial expansion. So therefore how I can write mg minus mg into 1 minus 2 y divided by y naught is equals to me. So m and m gets cancelled. So g minus of g into 1 minus 2y divided by y naught is equal to a. Clear ma? So g minus g plus 2y divided by 2yg divided by y naught is equals to a. So plus g and minus g gets cancelled. So therefore what is the final relation I have? Final relation is equals to a is equals to 2yg divided by y naught. So this can be written as 2g divided by y naught into y also. Clear ma? So what is meant by a here?
A is the acceleration produced. And what is y? Y is the initial displacement of the body, no ma? So what is the equation of SHM? A is equals to omega square into x. This is the basic equation of SHM, no? Clear, ma? Any body performing simple harmonic motion, it should satisfy this relation. A is equals to minus omega square x actually, but we are taking only magnitude of A here. A is equals to omega square into x. Clear? So therefore, can't you compare these two equations and can't you calculate omega value? So what is x here? X is nothing but displacement of the body. Displacement is along y-axis, no? So instead of x, what I can write here? Instead of x, I can write y. So comparing these two equations, I will get omega is equals to square root of 2g divided by y naught. So this is my answer. Clear? So this is the angular frequency with which this body can oscillate. Have you understood how we have calculated? Very simple. So we have displaced this one by a small displacement of y. Then a net force will be produced towards the center of the oscillation, towards the mean position. Clear? And just we have done some mathematical calculations when we have derived that answer. Okay? So we have calculated an equation of A here. A is equals to omega square is the basic equation of SHM. Comparing these two, I got omega value. That's all. Okay? So this is an insulated, what you call wire frame, ABC. Insulated wire frame means what? Charges cannot move through this frame. Are you able to understand, ma? And here what is the angle it is making? Here it is making an angle of 90 degrees. Clear? So two beads, two small balls, they are connected by a string and length of the string is L. So both of them we are releasing from here. If I release them, they start moving downwards, no? And after reaching up to this position, these beads, they are in equilibrium position. Clear, pa? So masses are M and M, charges possessed by them are Q and Q. And some more information is also given. It is given that this angle is equals to 30 degrees and this angle is equal to 60 degrees. Clear, ba? And this angle is alpha. Are you able to understand? So then in equilibrium position, these are the three values which we are supposed to find out. Angle alpha, tension which is developed in this string, and normal reaction which is acting on the beads. Okay, come on. So how can you solve this problem? So okay. Got any idea, ma, how to solve this problem? Sima. So if the system is in equilibrium, then what is the meaning of this one? Then are the forces they are balanced? No? Are the horizontal forces, vertical forces, they must be balanced with each other. So first of all, we are supposed to draw how many forces are acting on this system. Are you able to understand, ma? So this angle alpha is given, no? Okay. So see, ma. So first of all, if this is the beads which are resting on this triangular surface, first normal reaction will be acting, no? Normal reaction will be perpendicular to the contact surface. Its own weight mg will be acting in downwards direction. Similarly, there is a string which is connecting these two beads. And on the string, what are the different forces which are acting? For example, if you take one bead, tension is always a pulling force, no ma? Tension is always a pulling force. It is always trying to pull the bead in this direction. Clear, no ma? Then what about the charges possessed by this bead and this bead? They are like charges, no? Like charges means what? There will be an electrostatic force of repulsion. Okay? So repulsive force will be acting in this direction. Tension will be acting in this direction. So T minus Fe will become the net force which is acting on those beads. Are you able to understand, ma? So T minus Fe will become the force which is developed in this string. So therefore, 1, 2, 3 forces. 3 forces are keeping this bead in equilibrium. Can I say like this? 3 forces are keeping this bead in equilibrium. Similarly, here also 3 forces are keeping this bead in equilibrium. And all these 3 forces, where they are acting? All these 3 forces, they are acting in the plane of this board only, no? All the forces are acting in the same plane. If 3 forces are keeping a body in equilibrium, and three forces are present in the same plane, then which theorem I can use? I can use Lami's theorem, no? I can use Lami's theorem. So just use Lami's theorem, then very easily you can solve this problem. Clear, ma? Come on. So first of all, let us write equation for first charge. This is our first charge. Clear, ma? So on the first charge, how many forces are acting? Let us see. Clear, no, ma? So N1 divided by opposite angle. Opposite angle is this one, no? This is the opposite angle. So can you say how much will be this opposite angle? So this is 30. This angle is 90. And what is this angle? This angle will become again 60. So total angle in a straight line is 180 degrees, no? So from 180, if you remove 60, 120 will be there, no? So then what is this angle? 120 minus alpha. That's all, no? This angle will be how much? This angle will be 120 degrees minus alpha. Because here already I have alpha value, no? So therefore, N1 divided by sine alpha, sine opposite angle. Opposite angle is 120 minus alpha. That's all, no? Similarly, let us take one more angle, mg. mg divided by sine of opposite angle. So 2mg, this becomes my opposite angle, no? Clear, no, ma? Can you say what is this angle total? This angle is 90 degrees. So 90 plus alpha. So therefore mg divided by sine 90 plus alpha. Are you able to understand? Similarly, what is the third force which is acting? Third force is T minus Fe. This is the third force, no? And this becomes the total angle. So what is this total angle? This angle is 90 degrees, no? So 90 plus 60. 90 plus 60 is how much? Sine 150 degrees. So this becomes our equation number 1. Clear, ma? So if you simplify this one, N1 divided by sine 120 minus alpha is equals to mg divided by sine 90 plus alpha is how much? Cos alpha. That's all, no, ma? Cos alpha. So T minus Fe divided by sine sine 150, how I can write? I can write cos 60. Sine 150 it can be written as cos 60. So this is my equation number 1. Are you able to understand? Similarly, I can write Lami's theorem for second beard also, no? For second beard, how can I write? So this angle is 60, this angle is 90, so this angle will be 30 degrees. That's all, no, ma? So therefore, this is alpha, this is 90, this angle will be how much? This angle will be 90 minus alpha. That's all, no, ma? Now you calculate Lami's theorem for second beard. So again I can write N2 divided by, now this is N2, now this becomes my opposite angle, no, ma? This is the opposite angle. Can you say how much this angle will be? This angle will be total 180 degrees, no? So from 180 you remove 30 and 90 minus alpha. Clear? So 180 minus of 30 plus 90 minus alpha. So total how much it will be? 180 minus 30 minus 90 plus alpha. That's all, no, ma? So 180 minus 120 plus alpha. So 60 plus alpha, no? That's all, no, ma? So N2 divided by sine 60 plus alpha. Any doubt in that one, ma? So total angle is equals to 180 degrees. From 180 degrees, we are removing this 30 degrees and 90 minus alpha. So 30 plus 90 minus alpha will be 60 plus alpha. Clear? Similarly, one more force is mg. So mg divided by, now what is the opposite angle? This one to this is the opposite angle of this one, no? So what is this total angle? This angle is 90. So 90 plus 90 minus alpha. So 90 plus 90 minus alpha. 90 plus 90 minus alpha is how much? 180 minus alpha. So mg divided by 180 sine 180 minus alpha. Clear, ma? So sine 180 minus alpha. So this is mg force. Similarly, what is the one more force? T minus Fe. So this is T minus Fe, no? Then what is the opposite angle? This becomes the total opposite angle, no, ma? So 90 plus 30. 90 plus 30 is how much? 120. So I can write sine 90 plus 30. Have you understood up to here? Come on, make a note of this one, then we will rub this board. Come on. So once we have calculated this one, we have to simplify this one also, no? So if I simplify that one, let us see what are the results we will get. Okay. So if I simplify this second relation, I can write n2 divided by sine 60 plus alpha is equals to mg divided by sine 180 minus alpha is sine alpha only. Sine alpha is equals to t minus fe divided by sine 90 plus 30 is cos 30. That's all, Nama. So this becomes our equation number 1 and this becomes our equation number 2. Clear? So what is the first question he is asking? Angle alpha. Okay. So angle alpha value, how can I calculate? Can you see? Angle alpha value, how can I calculate? So out of equation number 1 and equation number 2, we are supposed to find out angle alpha. So here I have mg by cos alpha, t minus fe by cos 60. Here I have mg by sin alpha, t minus fe divided by cos 60. I can divide both these equations, no? If I divide both these equations, so mg, t minus fe, they will get cancelled. Clear? So therefore just dividing 1 and 2. So if I divide both the equations, what I will get, ma? So first I will write this one. So mg divided by cos alpha divided by mg divided by sin alpha is equal to, what about this relation? So t minus fe divided by cos 60 divided by t minus fe divided by cos 30. So this relation mg gets cancelled, no? So this becomes sin alpha by cos alpha, which is called as tan alpha. Tan alpha is equals to cos 30 divided by cos 60. Cos 30 value is how much? Cos 30 value is root 3 divided by 2. Cos 60 value is 1 by 2. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So therefore tan alpha is equals to root 3. So if tan alpha is root 3, what is alpha value? Alpha value is equal to 60 degrees. That is our answer for first question. Have you understood, ma? So just dividing 1 and 2, I got alpha value. Clear? Then he is asking second question. What is the second question he is asking? Second question is tension in the cart. So tension we are supposed to find out. Clear, ma? So where I have this term tension, here I have this term tension, no, ma? So how can I find out this tension? Can you say? So mass of the body is a known quantity only, no? So just equate these two relations, because alpha value already I have calculated. Alpha value is how much? 60 degrees. That's all, no, ma? So, or I can calculate from this relation also. This is also very easy. Just equate these two. What are the equations I can equate? Mg divided by sin alpha value is how much? 60 degrees is equals to t minus fe divided by cos 30. That's all, no? So mg divided by sin 60 is root 3 into 2. So this is equals to t minus fe divided by cos 30. Cos 30 is how much, ma? Cos 30 is also root 3 by 2 only, no? So this term and this term directly I can cancel. If I cancel both of them, then t is equals to fe plus mg. So this is our equation for tension. Okay, ma? And what is Fe? Fe is the electrostatic force of repulsion between the two beads, no? So what is the value for electrostatic force of repulsion? So 1 by 4 pi E naught Q1 Q2 divided by L square plus mg. This is the equation for tension. Are you able to understand? So we got the second answer. Clear? Then he is asking one more answer also, no? Normal reaction on the beads. Completed, ma, up to here? Make a note up to here. Okay, ma? So how can I third question is calculating normal reaction, no? N1 and N2. These two values we are supposed to find out. Clear, ma? So how can I find out N1 value? N1 value, I can equate these two, no, ma? Because alpha value already we have calculated. Alpha value is how much? 60 degrees. Just equate these two. So, okay. So N1 divided by sine 120 minus alpha value is 60 is equals to mg divided by cos 60. That's all, no? So N1 divided by sine 60 is equals to mg divided by cos 60. That's all, no? So therefore N1 is equals to mg into sine 60 divided by cos 60. Clear, ma? So therefore N1 is equals to mg into sine 60 is root 3 divided by 2, cos 60 is 1 by 2. So 1 gets cancelled. So N1 is equals to root 3 into mg. So this is N1, normal reaction on acting on first bead. Clear? Similarly, I can also calculate normal reaction acting on second bead also, no? So normal reaction on second bead, how can I calculate? So just equate these two now. That's all, no, ma? So 1 minute. Okay, ma? So now we equate these two. So N2 divided by sine 60 plus 60, sine 120 is equals to mg divided by sine 60. Clear, ma? So N2 divided by sine 60 can be written as cos 30 also, no? Cos 30 divided by mg divided by sine 60. So N2 value is how much? Mg into cos 30 divided by sine 60. Clear, ma? So N2 is equals to mg into cos 30 value is root 3 by 2 divided by sine 60 value is 1 by 2. That's all, no, ma? So sorry. Mg cos 30 and sine 60 they are equal. Clear? So therefore N2 value will be equal to mg. That is our answer. Completed, no, ma? Come on, make a note up to here.